So in the first part of this duo of videos, so I think it might end up being 3, I mentioned a dream where I saw a passenger plane, or maybe a plane. It just didn't look like a military plane, is the thing. A non-military looking plane with a crate, and that being kind of like a left. I like how The Simpsons says left below. A left below dream. The other left below dream I had, I didn't write it down at the time, so this is all from memory. This happened probably a couple of weeks either before or after the previous one. I found myself, well, I'll explain that I knew that this place was protected. It was like a clearing in the middle of nowhere, like a campsite almost in the middle of nowhere. And I had driven to it in my car, in the current car that I have, which is like a small size hatchback. And I had become aware that I was sitting in my driver's seat, and I had I had just had like bug out gear with me, just a little bit, like I had left in a hurry. I didn't have everything with me. And I had an understanding that the site wasn't ready, but they were getting things ready. I left and went into an admin-y type building, or a building that I thought people would have some direction or instruction or supplies or something. And I ran into someone who I don't actually know, but I knew them in my dream. And they were asking me how I was doing. And I told them that I was kind of upset because I was hoping, I kind of complained. I was just like, man, I was hoping for the rapture, but instead I'm here. And when I said here, I had a vision within my dream, and I saw in the spirit almost like you would see in a cartoon, like a cartoon bubble, and you see a image inside the cartoon bubble. It was almost like that. And I saw barracks, like not bunk beds, but single beds, row after row after row after row, army green, very sparse. And I heard in the spirit, God is making an army of God. And I had an understanding that that place, those grounds that we're on, was for training for soldiers, for warriors, that would be fighting for the Holy Kingdom. And I made it back to my car. Somehow my car had moved. There was a tent where my car was. Someone had taken my pillow. I was upset that someone took my pillow. I took it back. I went back to my car. I laid down the back seat and I went to bed. And when I went to bed, I woke up in real life. Oddly, when I woke up that morning, eventually when I checked YouTube, I remember one of the first videos that I saw was a person who I don't watch or anything like that, but they popped up saying that they were preparing a sanctuary area, and they were talking about they would have kitchens and a medical area and a teaching area and things like that. And I just found that to be a very interesting confirmation of my dream. So that would have been back in October, maybe, of 2021, October, September, something along those lines. I had this really interesting training dream with a horse, and I was watching or got into some discussions with a YouTuber, CDJ Heaven, who was speaking about warriors that are on horseback, and she had acquired, I guess, her horse, like in real life. And I thought it was interesting that I only dreamt about my horse, but mine was far younger than hers is in real life. But CDJ Heaven came to me in the dream. She's the one who I'll be referring to. I had this dream on January 1st, 2022. I should probably record my horse dream. I was in a city. I was debating whether it was Savannah or Jacksonville. And I saw a young horse galloping around the streets in like a kind of like a historic downtown area. And I was in a car, and I was able to kind of narrow in on its location, and I got out of the car and I walked up to it, and I was just like, hey baby, hey sweetie. And it galloped on me, and I kind of hugged it, and there were some stairs going down, and I didn't want it to fall down the stairs, so I grabbed onto it, and we fell backwards, and I soaked up its fall because I didn't want it to hurt its little legs. And it was on top of me for a while, and then I was just like, I got you, baby. I got you, sweetie. I got you, baby. And then CDJ said, this is a horse that you will learn how to ride and do feats on. And then I think we separated. Like, the horse's name was Joey, and Joey got off of me, or we got up, and then this official guy came over and was like, thank you for finding our horse. And he was standing next to a woman, and he threw I guess he was like an honored horse for the city, and he threw over Joey's back like this bright green velvet blanket thing with like gold writing, but I can't remember what the writing said, and like gold tassels. And he led Joey to this back room, and when he led Joey to the back room to take him away from me, which I was really upset about, a bunch of people started coming out. At first they looked like Catholic priests, and then there was a woman who looked like maybe a Baptist minister in a dress, and then a bunch of religious figures kind of around the same type of look, with the long cloister thing, all came out, and they started standing in a circle. And I knew that they were cultists. I knew that they were Satanists. I knew right away. And I'm like, oh, these evil MFers right here. And they started to do a ritual. Like, they straight up started doing a satanic ritual in the middle of this like square in public. And I understood what was going on, and I was right outside their circle, and there are other people watching, but what other people were seeing was just uh like a faith gathering celebration of these important city people. That's all they saw. I saw Satanists doing a ritual. And so I was making my way around the circle, and I just heard in my head, say his name. And so I shouted, Yahushua HaMashiach. I didn't even say, in the name of, or I rebuke. I didn't say any of that. I just said, Yahushua HaMashiach. And two of the cultists looked at each other, like glared at me, and then looked at each other. And then when I said that, simultaneously, the people that were gathered around, that were kind of like in stadium seating almost, um, that were looking at these people, realized that these were cultists. Like, they realized that they were Satanists or something. And I made my way up to these bleachers, and I sat next to this this one uh, this one girl who was like eating popcorn or something like that, and then she started throwing food in their direction and was just kind of like boo, and then like everyone else was just like disenchanted by them. So I ruined their ritual, which felt super good. And then I think that was about the end of it. The stream that I'm about to share takes place at an industrial Publix bakery. And I think it's interesting that it seems to be a training ground symbolically in my dreams. My first job ever was at a Publix bakery as a bakery clerk. And I loved it so much that for the next 12 years or so, I worked as a cake decorator and a baker and a pastry chef in different bakeries outside of the grocery store, but like private bakeries, as my side gig as I was going through schooling. Though very rarely do I dream about the bakery environment, it seems to be where I go in my dreams for knowing that I'm about to train, rather than, let's say, a classroom, which other warriors seem to have a classroom setting. Mine is the bakery setting. It's super funny to me. This dream I had on February 10th, 2022. Quick dream snippet. Because the stream is evaporating quickly. There's this massive bakery that I very infrequently have dreamt about. And I returned to this bakery in my dream last night. It's like in between space representing work. It's strange. And I saw I walked in, had some orders to do, came to the worker. Oh, shoot. Okay, so in the stream, I was heading to work. It was like a giant warehouse Publix bakery, essentially. And I was turning down the street, and there's no one on the street. And there's a guy headed the other way. And I'm driving one way, he's driving the other way. And when this guy sees me, he does a complete U-turn, and he crashes his car to block mine. And he gets out of his car and he starts chasing me, and I anticipate this, so I start running. Why did I get out of my car? For some reason, I get out of my car too, and I start running. And I start screaming for help. I'm like, help, help. Eventually, some other people come and they stop him, and they're like, oh, it's fine. He just has PTSD. He's a war vet. He was off his medications, and the guy was just like, I'm so sorry, I wasn't meaning to hurt you. I didn't mean to startle you. I wasn't going to hurt you. And I was just like, deuces, y'all. So I continue off to work. I go to work. I'm like 3 hours early or 2 hours early. I come in at 3 o'clock. and they weren't expecting me, but I already had work to do there. So I review the area because I hadn't been there in a while. And my boss from this latest job, Abby, she's there and she's very wealthy. She's doing very well for herself, which is great. She stops in just to say hi to me, just to express to me that she had genuine affection for me as an employee, etc., which is great. I look outside and I notice, I was about to tell Abby about what had happened on my way into work, and as I'm doing this, I hear or see the clouds outside, and they look like storm clouds, but not really storm clouds. There's like pulsing light surges going through them, kind of like I feel like if you watch a sci-fi show and a ship has a force field, and when it's struck with a missile, the force field kind of will glow to indicate that it's been struck, kind of like that, but instead of a ship, it's a cloud, and instead of a force field, that is what's happening directly to the cloud. It's just like illuminating in like waves throughout its surface. And I was just like, do you see that? What is that? Do you see that? And then from the clouds, there dropped circles. And these circles were like a cookie cutter of the sky coming out of us in a circle. And then within that, it would be pitch black, just channeling down to the earth. And I was like, oh no, and for some reason I had my Bible, which I was really happy to have. And I was just like, I know what I need to do. And I marched outside and I started, the first circle I saw, I rebuked it in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. I was like, I rebuke you in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. You get out of here. I rebuke you. And I was just like straight up, and it disappeared. And then, but hundreds of these things are going on. And I just start rebuking the sky, and I don't even know. And I started referring to scriptures that I don't know. I was just like, and according to the scriptures, I have the authority, and anything that I ask for will be granted to me by Yahuwah. So I rebuke you in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. And I was just like fighting the sky, or fighting the demonic forces that were trying to portal in. They look like portals or something like that. And then when I was done, they stopped doing whatever that process was, and I went inside, and I went back to my teacher, and I was feeling so amped. And I was just like, I was trying to continue my story, so I was just like, yeah, so anyway, but I was like super amped and stuff like that. So I just wanted to record that. That's pretty much the end of my dream. Praise Yahushua for giving me that wisdom and insight of what to do, and then I didn't back down, and I was just like, nah, and the energy or attitude I came with it was like, if you're going to kill me, so be it, but I'm not staking this ground. This ground is not going to not be staked in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. That's the energy or attitude that I came with it at, was just like, no, you need to go. This is God's protected land. So I just wanted to get that recorded. In Yahushua's mighty name, amen.